Two people are now in custody. This after a shooting overnight in North Denver. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Tom Green.
And I'm Kim Christensen. It happened about midnight near 35th and Colorado. According to Denver police, two groups of men got into a fight at the 7-Eleven. During the fight, shots were fired, and an officer nearby heard them. When officers got on the scene, they found two people shot. One of them died at the scene. The second person died at the hospital. Denver police say one of the two men in custody was found thanks to a canine. Denver police say the early investigation revealed that 19-year-old Fabian Vasquez is the person who shot the two male victims. He's being held for investigation of 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. A bizarre and really tragic event at a track meet in Colorado Springs yesterday. A dad was killed. 9 News reporter Spencer Soysher has been following the story for us. And Spencer, we're learning this man was trying to protect his family.
Yeah, police say the father reportedly jumped up to protect his son and his wife when a weight from a hammer throw event hit him. Now, this is what the Mountain Lion Fieldhouse on the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs campus looks like. It's about 14,000 square feet. Authorities say 57-year-old Wade Langston was in the audience for the event on the UCCS campus when the weight was flown over the protective net. He was hit and died inside the fieldhouse. Langston was there to support his own son. Other spectators say they were a little weary of the certified netting situation to begin with.
There was an event there in December, same type of event for high school club athletes, and balls were sort of bouncing through, shot put balls. And I remember standing there and people started moving, and I was like, they got it. So me and some of the parents were talking about how these are probably approved netting, but they got to move something. The bleachers got to move, or they got to get higher nets. It's just a very small, confined space.
The school says event organizers did certify the netting ahead of the meet, and it passed. Moving forward, athletic directors were expected to check in with students and offer counseling service. Deadly accidents at track and field competitions are rare, but we know a shot put, hit, and killed an official during practice at the U.S. Track and Field Championships in L.A. back in 2005. Also, a hammer killed a student at a college meet in Illinois in 2017.
Wow, we had to look it up here to know what it looks like. And then once you look it up, you're familiar with what it looks like, and you see someone spinning around and throwing it. I guess, call me clueless. I didn't really know we did track meets inside, period. So it's hard to say what's going on here. They have a lot to reconsider besides that netting.
Certainly interesting that's happening in an indoor space, especially one as small as that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know there's more to follow. Thanks for sharing. That's such a sad story. Thanks, Spencer.
Let's check outside right now. We did get up to 50 degrees today, and it felt nice. Don't worry if you didn't get out and enjoy it today. There are more chances to enjoy some warm weather before snow returns to Kathy's forecast. Kathy is with us, though, with a look at how nice today did feel.
What a nice way to kick off a Monday and the new week. It just feels like January's been cloudy, cold, icy, and snowy. And so when you wake up and have a day like this and things are actually melting, it feels good. It really does boost your mood. And this temperature trend looks to continue for most of the week. A lot of melting along the Front Range foothills today. Temperatures this afternoon, 50 in Denver. That's about 24 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We're at 42 now, 48 in Lyman, 52 in Trinidad. Temperatures trending above the average of 45, and winds are light. It's not entirely quiet out there, of course. We're tracking an area of low pressure that's been cut off from the main flow, but also a godsend to Los Angeles and Southern California. This center of circulation has brought several days of rain. They've had hail. They've also had snow. There is always, it's kind of a good news, bad news. We're concerned about flooding and mudslides, and this is a system that is heading our way and heading into southern Colorado, and this may impact the southern mountains in terms of some snow that we'll be expecting for later on this week. There goes the old weather clicker. All right, so the temperature is trending now in the mid-40s now. We'll drop into the mid-20s by around midnight tonight. And your weather headlines do include a warm weather trend with above average readings until Thursday, when that southern Colorado low may bring just enough moisture up from the south to bring a few snow showers to Denver. So I'm going to cover all of that, Tom and Kim, in weather in just a little bit.
Thanks, Kathy. Happening tonight, the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative will do their annual point-in-time count. That means teams of people will be out counting the number of people in shelters and living on the streets of Denver and other surrounding counties. This data helps create strategies to help people experiencing homelessness and also apply for critical funding. Last year, more than 9,000 people were counted across the 7-county region. The Metro Denver Homeless Initiative says the actual number is closer to 30,000 throughout the year. The case against a former Littleton bus aide seen on camera abusing a child with special needs is being pushed back. Kira Jones faces 13 charges. She was scheduled to be arraigned today, but her attorney told the judge they had not yet received all of the discovery from new charges that were filed in September. Jones is accused of hurting multiple children with special needs. Authorities say one of them was an 11-year-old nonverbal boy who came home with a broken toe because of her abuse. Jones will be back in court in March.
Today is a somber day to remember. Today marks 80 years since the liberation of the Auschwitz death camps, a place where more than 1 million prisoners, mostly Jews, were murdered.
And today, survivors returned for a special service to share their stories and honor those lost. Jay Gray was there and brings us a closer look.
80 years after walking from this death camp. The steps don't come as easily anymore for survivors. Their struggle, the years etched in their faces, the memories, the horrors locked in their minds.
I stood and watched helplessly as little girls from the nearby barrack were marched away crying and shivering to the gas chamber. Is my barrack next? I silently wondered. I thought that we all have to die.
More than 1 million were murdered inside this camp.
So this is kind of a sacred ground, the biggest burial of Jews in the world.
This is Michael Bornstein as a 4-year-old prisoner of Auschwitz. 8 decades later, he's come back not by force, but by choice.
It's also important for me to show the world, the bigotry and the hatred that went on in Auschwitz.
It's a mission shared by preservationists and scientists inside this high-tech lab. A restricted area of the camp where cameras are rarely allowed. Thousands of items cataloged, stored in climate-controlled rooms. Still, with all of the work and the words of the survivors, the story of Auschwitz will never really be complete.
Because there is this darkness that will never be told, because most of the people who were deported to Auschwitz did not survive this place. They were murdered. Most of them never became prisoners of the concentration camp. They were murdered immediately after arrival in gas chambers.
This place, part memorial, part museum, dedicated to their memory. Jay Gray, NBC News, Auschwitz.
This morning, Denver Health launched its first ever naloxone vending machine. The machine holds free naloxone and hygiene kits for anyone who needs it. The idea is for those using drugs to have the naloxone on hand in case of an overdose, potentially saving lives by not having to wait for an ambulance to come. Denver Health says the vending machine, known as Vendy, and other free naloxone services are important tools that are being utilized in the community.
It's hard to know. We're not putting tracking devices in these. We don't know who's getting them and whether they're being used, but we do know that they are leaving the machines, and that that's what we want. We want to get it out into the community, and hopefully it never needs to be used, but sadly it does need to be used.
That vending machine is located on the Denver Health campus on Bannock Street, just outside of Pavilion K.